A sloppy second period dooms the Sharks as they have now lost 5 straight heading into the break.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL's Tuesdays episodes with Seth. Go check it out. Do want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, probably part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everyday, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be dissecting 90 seconds of pure poop as the Sharks lose 4-3 to the Vancouver Canucks. So we're going to discuss what went wrong there and great pushback by the Sharks. The defensive issues in this game, especially without Jake Walman. We're also going to talk William Eklund's injury and dig into the numbers of this game. So before we do all that, do want to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you by good friends over at FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right. The Sharks, of course, lose 4-3 to the Vancouver Canucks, which is, this felt like a game where I really thought the Sharks had a chance in this game just because of the way the Canucks have been playing. I thought the way the Sharks have been playing, even though they haven't been able to get kind of over the hump recently. But unfortunately, just not able to. And it really kind of comes down to this 90-second period in the second period where they give up 3 goals. And one of those was very controversial. We'll put a pin in that right now. But still, like, a lot of just the same things we've seen from the Sharks, where they constantly shoot themselves in the foot. And this team is just not talented enough to overcome those mistakes, especially on the blue line. We'll talk way more about the blue line here in a little bit, but it was 90 seconds of them just turnovers in the neutral zone. And then the next thing you know, the puck is in the back of the net, right? And maybe Askarov wants one of those back and stuff. And yes, maybe one of those should have been called goaltender interference, and the game's a completely different game. But still, then things are going to change in the third period, where the Sharks were down 4-1 for a good chunk of it, and kind of were able to generate offense. And because the Canucks were basically trying to park the bus and get to Christmas time, maybe things changed differently there because of that. But still, it was a performance where you did stuff right for 57 minutes, but those, you have that 3-minute period, or I guess 90-second period, where you just couldn't get out of your own way. Whether you're, again, turnover in the neutral zone, back of the net, another turnover, back of the net. Sharks challenge it for goalie interference. They lose that call. The Canucks are on the power play. Literally right off the draw, it's like a mini breakaway. Another penalty. You're a 5-on-3, and Elias Pettersson puts the nail in the coffin with an absolute beautiful shot. Elias Pettersson is just when he's on, he can be a joy to watch. I've loved Elias Pettersson since he was a rookie. But anyway, it's those 3, because you work so hard and you have a lead in this game. You give up a lead, like you let them tie it, and it's a close game. It's kind of a back and forth affair. Both teams are kind of getting their opportunities. Second period is a little bit more heavy Canucks, but it's just those turnovers and just guys making hope plays and guys trying to do too much or guys not doing enough. It's a combination of some guys trying to do too much, some guys trying not doing enough to make a play, and it's so frustrating because you can see where this team is headed, and I feel like I've had this conversation a million times, but you can see the talent and you can see where these guys are heading. You can see where this team is going to be good at, but they're just not there right now, and they constantly do things like that, where you do have, and you can't just overcome it right now. As for the goalie interference call, which, I mean, wearing my teal colored glasses, I do think that was goalie interference that, did not get called. I wonder if they made a good point, because since the goal kind of, if you didn't see it right, I think it was Granlund kind of just parks himself in front of Askarov. Askarov makes the initial save. The rebound, of course, bounces out, and Pedersen cleans it up, right? Granlund gets his stick like in front of Askarov's stick, and it kind of ties him up. He's not able to really reset in time for Pedersen's shot. Now, and like Granlund initiates contact, it's in the blue paint, et cetera, et cetera. But you wonder if the shot was over Askarov's right shoulder and went in, you wonder if it gets called there. But since it was on the other side, kind of on the other side of the net, where Askarov was already kind of on the right side, they probably were just like, there was no realistic opportunity for him to get over there. And then, it's definitely a sliding doors moment of, okay, well, it's, not gonna, then you don't have the power play, but the Canucks are definitely playing well at that point. It's 2-1. Do the Canucks continue to push in this game, and instead of seeing the opportunities that we saw in the third period, where Vancouver was definitely, again, sitting back, they were happy being up 3 goals or 2 goals for majority of the second period. They were happy to kind of get the puck out of their zone, dump it down, and reset and play more defense. Who knows, right? Who knows what happens there? But it's not, it's not easy to say, well, the Sharks scored 2 goals in the third period, they come back and win that game. Like, who knows what happens there? But definitely a little frustrating with that. This game was a very chippy game as well, with 2 fights, and there was a lot of calls, and I think the refs were very much trying to keep this game in hand, as I think there was a lot of tension, and especially for Canucks team that is really struggled, and there's been a lot of off ice issues and a lot of drama, et cetera, et cetera. I wonder if they saw the Sharks as like, this is a good opportunity for us to get a win, kind of punch down on an opponent, and then get into the holiday break feeling good about themselves. And I think that's how they kind of looked at this game. So, but for the Sharks, like, I think it was, again, 90 seconds of just sloppiness and issues, and it very much felt, and it wasn't just one guy. There was a lot of guys making, like Henry Thrun right before there was a hot mess. Thrun also took a puck to the helmet, came back, has a nice little welt on him, poor guy. But those Christmas photos right now, definitely not going to be ones you probably go back to a lot. But it's just like, it's just frustrating, because I mean, the Sharks now have lost 5 games in a row. 4 of those 5 games are 1-goal losses, and there's just so many, it's just so many little things here, little things there, right? If Toffoli doesn't hit the post and it goes in, okay, that's 3 goals in the third period, and it's 4-4. There's just a bunch of those little things that it's just constantly adds up for the Sharks. And this is part of the heartbreak and long road of a rebuild that is. But yeah, it's frustrating. And then it doesn't get any easier because you play Vegas on Friday, who is they're pretty good. So yeah, at least you get a couple days there. So we'll talk more about kind of the defensive issues and Askarov and his night, and of course dig into this game a little bit more here. So we'll get to that in just 1 second. Today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. If you love sports, you're going to love Prize Picks, the best place to turn your sports knowledge into real money. Whether it's hockey, football, or your favorite sports, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in on the action. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Plus, this holiday season, they're giving away $30 million in rewards during Pixmas and offering 2 free picks in December. And when your picks hit, Prize Picks makes it easy to cash out and get your money in as fast as 15 minutes. This week on Prize Picks, of course, I'm always taking Macklin Celebrini. If you had Macklin Celebrini with over an assist tonight, you're feeling good because he had 2 tonight. Or Jack Hughes with a goal. Jack Hughes had a goal tonight as well. It's simple to make my picks and have fun with friends while potentially cashing out fast. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right, $50 instantly. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right. Before we continue, of course, I do want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your next listen, go check out the Locked On Fantasy Hockey podcast. If you need some help with your fantasy hockey team, who to start, who to sit, who to pick up on waivers, who to trade for, all that good stuff, they got you covered over there. Or check out any of the shows here in the Bay Area. Of course, you have Locked On Niners, Locked On Warriors, Locked On A's, Locked On Giants. You can find all those podcasts and more, all of the Locked On Network, wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. All right. The defense and Askarov. So Askarov, I thought, played okay tonight. The Brock Besser goal, maybe he's a little bit out of position there. Maybe you want the defense to tie him up a little bit more. The 2 Pettersson goals, like Elias Pettersson's like an otherworldly like shot. Again, one of those could have been goalie interference. That other one by that Pettersson goal, just the sound of it hitting off the crossbar and going in, just absolutely ridiculous. And even the Kiefer Sherwood goal, like that's an absolute laser from Sherwood, and it's a one-on-one type of situation. And you would, again, maybe not like your team to just massive turnovers in the neutral zone that lead to, those type of scenarios. But my biggest takeaway from this is just, especially with Jake Walman not playing tonight, right? Jake Walman was out. He's considered day to day with a lower body injury. He had lower body, upper body, who knows, right? With the NHL, it's always that's your designation. So, but with the Askarov and the defense, and I think tonight was your exhibit A. And we talked about this yesterday on what do the Sharks do? Of do you send Askarov back to the AHL because the defense in front of him isn't good and you don't want to ruin his confidence? Tonight was exhibit A of why Askarov might go back to the AHL, because it's not him, right? It's 100% not. It's just the defense is so poor in front of him, and this defense is going to change a lot over the next 6 months to this time next season, of guys who are going to be flushed out and traded away or not re-signed, and guys who are going to be re-signed. And I hope the first thing on Mike Greer's off-season shopping list is a minute munching right-handed defenseman who can play literally top 4 minutes, and also provide offense. This defense is just not very good, right? And it's better than what we saw last year, right? Again, not hard to be better, but with Askarov, super confident guy, is just, do you want him behind this type of barrage night in, night out, right? And he was outstanding against Edmonton, facing, 41 shots or whatever it was in that game. Tonight, just a lot of defensive issues that caused a lot of breakdowns that led to the puck being in the back of the net. And there was some good performances, and I think one guy I do want to shout out, a couple guys. I think Jan Ruda, you can see the offensive confidence. He scores a goal, and then now all of a sudden he thinks he's Erik Karlsson with like the jumping in and stuff like that. And again, for a team that needs offensive help as much as they can, like you're going to see the defenseman kind of pinch and cheat for offense because this team just struggles right now to consistently score goals. Especially again, like this team, they've lost 5 straight. They have scored 3, 3, 2, 2, 3 in those. Even then, they won 4-3 over St. Louis. Against Carolina, they scored 2. Against Florida, they scored 1. Against Tampa, they scored 1. Against Washington, they scored 2. Like it's been a while. This whole month of December, the offense has really, really dried up after the barrage of scoring that we saw at the end of November. So the defense is definitely having to kind of contribute a little bit more there, but you're stuck in a tough situation with the defenders you have on this team being asked to kind of do stuff that they're just plainly not super great at right now. So, and it's then, especially with Jake Walman being out, it definitely does put this defense in a tough situation right now. So, don't want to be super negative. There was some positive performances. I do want to shout out again, Jan Ruda. I thought you saw the offense there tonight. Cody Ceci with a goal. Shakir Mukhamadullin, especially in the third period. And I did like how in the third period, you are trying to come back, but it is, I don't want to say garbage time, but it was a good opportunity for a guy like Shakir Mukhamadullin to get some good ice time. I don't want to say like a low pressure situation, especially when you're down 2 goals for a good chunk of that time, where you are trying to generate offense. And I thought Mukhamadullin responded well in that time, right? You saw him creating offense. You saw him hit a really nice rush opportunity. Like you saw him kind of pinch it down, had a really nice shot on goal. Like that's what you want to see from a guy like Mukhamadullin, who did have definitely the first half of the game when it was 1-1 and did have some issues in the first half of the game. I think for him, sometimes just the speed of the game, of the NHL game, where he, instead of kind of taking a step back and seeing what's going on, he just kind of puck off glass and out, right? And it just goes right back to the Canucks. And for Mukhamadullin, he's a guy who, yes, he needs to kind of make a decision and stick with it, and that's usually when he's at his best. But still, I think that kind of realizing the speed of the NHL game and being able to kind of process that, and that's just going to come now with him playing NHL minutes. So I did really like his third period and hope to see that he can continue to build on that, because I do believe Mukhamadullin is still going to be a big part of what the Sharks defense is going to say. Really quick on Eklund. Warsofsky, no update on Eklund, but we saw him walking on his own to the bus. Hopefully no worse for the wear. We'll likely get an update after the holidays. They're off until 12/27, which boom. So Friday. So Friday morning skate. That's the next time we're gonna see them. So which is fun. Like, give it some time here. Hopefully he was a little banged up from the previous game, if I recall correctly. Anyway, back to Mukhamadullin. I do feel like for him, I would love to see him continue to get some opportunities here, because just to build that confidence and continue to build that confidence. And hopefully he can build on how he played the third period, because I thought he played really well in the third period. And again, low pressure situation there, but that's fine. Those are learning opportunities for him. Get some minutes in a part where you are trying to push for offense, and see what you can continue to do there. So, but if you're like, Askarov's still going to be up, especially with Vanacek, who is considered week to week. We probably really won't get. Maybe we'll get a Vanacek update when we, after the holidays here. But I still like if you're my career tonight's a big reason why you send Askarov back. Because you don't want to just kill his confidence, and I do think it's hard to kill Askarov's confidence just because of the way he plays and how he is. But I've laid out the cases before, but I do just like they do want the Barracuda to be good, and they want him to be a big reason why the Barracuda are good. And getting shelled and getting by is not a great way to treat a young goalie. So we'll dig into the numbers behind this game, kind of talk about what the Sharks did well in the third period, kind of how took advantage of their opportunities in the third period, try to look at some of the lines since the lines are a hot mess tonight and kind of see who paired with who played with whom and all that fun stuff. So we'll get to that in just 1 second. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get on regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown. Kyron Williams for the Rams. I swear that dude is always in the end zone. Every time I look up on Red Zone, he is always in the end zone. Or if you have maybe Justin Jefferson, who went off this weekend, plenty of fun stuff to bet on. So yeah, it's not just who's going to win. You can always kind of almost treat it like fantasy football and decide who you like to have a big week. So just visit fanduel.com to join today. That's fanduel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, before we get to the numbers, do want just a quick reminder, holiday schedule. So tonight is the Tuesday episode. Not back until, so we'll have an episode coming out on Thursday afternoon. So taking Christmas time off, spend with some family. We'll have an episode Thursday afternoonish, probably about lunchtime. Then we will have an episode Friday night after the Vegas game for a recap of that. So plenty, still got plenty of stuff coming up this week. But again, do want to take some time off right now. So just as a quick reminder. So, all right, let's get to the numbers of this game. So, Sharks definitely took advantage of a very meh Canucks team in the third period, to kind of make the numbers look way more skewed one way. We had about 45 minutes of 5-on-5 time, 47 to 25 shot attempts in favor of San Jose, 65.28 to 34.72 Corsi 4 in favor of San Jose. Actual shots at 5-on-5 was 19 to 14. Scoring chances 13 to 12 in favor of the Sharks, 4 to 6 high danger chances in favor of the Canucks, 1.42 to 1.37 expected goals for in favor of the Sharks. The Canucks first period, very sleepy from them. They only had 7 shot attempts at 5-on-5. And yes, there was plenty of penalties in there as the Sharks had a 5-on-3 for a little bit. The Canucks also had 2 power plays of their own in the first period, but still only generating 7 shot attempts while the Sharks had 11 in that time. Very interesting. But the second period, little more even, 11 to 15 shot attempts, still in favor of the Sharks, but actual shots was 8 to 6 in favor of the Canucks, and they're 0.75 to 0.21 expected goals for. So while the Sharks had more shot attempts, the Canucks just generated more offense in that second period and really put the pressure on. One, thanks to brutal turnovers, and 2, just them kind of creating offense, especially kind of the middle of that second period, and that's where they earn those power play opportunities. So at least one of those power play opportunities, I guess 2, but anyway. But the third period, the Sharks down 3, were able to kind of create and push for offense there. 21-7 shot attempts, which is what you love to see. 7-3 scoring chances, like 0.62 to 0.19 expected goals for. So Canucks gave them time and space and opportunities, and the Sharks did take advantage of it, and they were able to score 2 goals. And granted, one was with like 5 seconds left by Luke Cunnin. So you would just like to see that more sustainable when things are closer in the games, like 2-1 or you're up by 1. Like that's the big learning thing for the Sharks here. So the numbers are really funky because of William Eklund leaving the game after the first period. So we'll kind of see what we can learn. So we did have Granlund, Celebrini, and Toffoli who played a good chunk together, especially even after Eklund left. And you kind of saw everyone else rotating here after Eklund left. But they played almost 11 minutes, had 15 shot attempts of 4, 6-3 actual shots on goal. Expected goals 4.51 to 0.17, 4-2 scoring chances, 1-1 high danger chances. So that line played pretty well. And we talked about last episode, like, how does Warsofsky respond? He tried to kind of spread things out between the 3 lines. I think he realized he was maybe just spread out too thin. He consolidated tonight, and I think you saw better offensive showing from those lines. And even, the line, like the Smith line, I thought played really well as well. And Celebrini, was I think he was pressing a little bit with being home for Vancouver. He did get 2 points tonight. That does now put him at 25 points in 25 games. So doing my math, that's a point per game. So things we'd love to see. But I do think he was maybe pressing a little bit. And this is, again, right, first time playing in your hometown, first time playing, like, there's as great as as mature as Celebrini is, there's still going to be those moments where you have to remember he's 18 years old. So I think he was pressing a little bit tonight. Hopefully the holiday break gives him a nice time to kind of relax and stuff. I'm sure it was kind of a draining kind of 2 days here and being in Vancouver and kind of just dealing with all the extra media and all that stuff that he had to kind of deal with. So I'm curious. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if he kind of comes out of the holiday gates, like the holiday break, just flying against Vegas. I am excited to see him against Vegas, because last time, remember, no Smith, no Eklund, and no Celebrini last time the Sharks played Vegas, and they got waxed in that game. And I do want to see how they play this game with potentially at least 2 of those 3, hopefully all 3 if Eklund's healthy. But as for we'd don't get a lot for numbers here. The Delangelo, Sturm, Goodrow line played pretty well too. 424, 5-0 shot attempts, 1-0 actual shots. We also had Zetterlund, Luke Cunnin, Nikola Kovalenko, 324, 4-1 shot attempts, like 3-1 actual shot. Like, all those lines did pretty well. Again, when you kind of outshoot the other team as much as the Sharks did, that's bound to happen. So I want to pull up where is Luke Cunnin or Will Smith? Will Smith, so he played 5-on-5, 10-04, playing on the second line tonight. Again, lines were all screwed up after Eklund left. He played 10-04, 9-10 shot attempts. Actual shots was 3-7. But keep in mind, so Eklund only played 5 minutes at 5-on-5, 7-3 shot attempts with 3-1 actual shots. So with Eklund and Smith, that line, like, those seem like those lines were playing pretty well. And hopefully Eklund is able to bounce back. We get a bigger sample size of Eklund, Wenberg, and Smith playing together. So that's the hope here. So, but yeah, again, just another kind of 90 seconds, right? Just 90 poor seconds, and the Shark, change the whole dynamic of the game. So, Yeah. All right. That's going to be it for me today. We'll be back on Thursday. I'll record sometime Thursday morning. So again, keep an eye out right around lunchtime. Of course, you can make sure you're subscribing wherever you get podcasts, or you can subscribe on YouTube as well. That way you don't miss an episode. So make sure you follow along wherever, like I said, wherever you're listening, wherever you watch, all that fun stuff. You can follow the socials. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until Thursday. Bye, friends.